So welcome you all to the video lecture. In this video lecture, we will see types of DC motor and applications of various types of DC motor. So you can see the diagram of classification of DC motor. So DC motors are mainly classified into separately excited DC motor, self-excited DC motor, and permanent magnet DC motor. In self-excited DC motors also classified into shunt excited or shunt wound DC motor, series excited or series wound DC motor, and compound wound DC motor or compound excited DC motor. So this classification is based on how the field winding is connected. You know already here shunt wound means field winding is connected in parallel with the armature, that is across the armature. So series wound means here field winding is connected in series with the armature. Whereas in compound wound DC motor here, there you are having here two field winding, shunt field winding as well as series field winding is there. Depending on the how this series field is connected. So once again, this compound wound DC motor or DC motors are classified into a long shunt and a short shunt. So similarly, same as in DC generators also, if the series field aids the shunt field, then you will get the cumulative compound DC motor. If the series field opposes the shunt field, then the type of motor is called a differential compound DC motor. So first we will see a separately excited DC motor. As the name suggests, in case of separately excited DC motor, the supply is given separated to the field and armature windings. The main distinguishing fact in these types of DC motor is that the armature current doesn't flow through the field windings, as the field winding is energized from a separate external source of DC current as shown in the figure beside. So from the torque equation of a DC motor, we know TA is equal to some constant kT multiplied by pi and Ia. So the torque in this case can be varied by varying field flux phi independent of the armature current Ia. So because here there is no relation between this Ia and field current, so that's why here we can get the torque by varying field flux phi and Ia independently. Permanent magnet DC motor, in short, it is called as PMDC motor. The permanent magnet DC motor consists of an armature winding as in case of an usual motor, but doesn't necessarily contain the field windings. The construction of these types of DC motor are such that radially magnetized permanent magnets are mounted on the inner periphery of the stator core to produce the field flux. That is, so the magnetic flux is produced by or supplied by a permanent magnet. So that's why this motor is called as here PMDC motor. Whereas in other types of motors, okay, so field is produced by electromagnets. For electromagnets, okay, we required here field coils. So field core as well as field coils we require. But whereas in this motor, the field is produced by permanent magnets or supplied by permanent magnets. The torque equation of DC motor suggests TA is equal to kT pi Ia, where pi is always constant, as permanent magnets of required flux density are chosen at the time of construction and cannot be changed thereafter. For a permanent magnet DC motor, TA equal to KT1 Ia, where KT1 equal to KT into pi, which is another constant. Because of pi is also constant, so KT times of another constant, you'll get one more constant KT1. KT1 equal to KT into pi. In this case, the torque of DC motor can only be changed by controlling the armature supply. So next one is self-excited DC motor. In case of self-excited DC motor, the field winding is connected either in series or in parallel or partly in series, partly in parallel to the armature winding. Based on this, self-excited DC motors can be classified as shunt wound DC motor, series wound DC motor, and compound wound DC motor. So here, once again the same classification we already saw the in generator in case of generators. So there we are calling shunt wound DC generator, series wound DC generator, compound wound DC generator. So the same classification in DC motor also, just how you are connecting the field winding here. If the field winding is connected in parallel with the armature, that is a shunt wound DC motor. If the field winding is connected in series with the armature, that is here series wound DC motor. If both field windings are there, how you are connecting just here series field as well as shunt field here, we can get the compound wound here. So types of compound wound is short shunt and a long shunt. So the circuit diagrams of these motors is already shown in figure here. You can observe these circuit diagrams. So the next topic is the DC motor characteristics. The characteristic curves of a motor are those curves which show relationships between the following quantities. So first one is electrical characteristics, which is drawn between torque and armature current, that is TA versus IA. And the second characteristics is speed and armature current, that is speed versus N versus IA characteristic. The third one is mechanical characteristics, so which is drawn between speed and torque, that is N versus TA. So the third characteristic is found from 1 and 2. So to draw these characteristics, in order to discuss the motor characteristics, the following two relations should always be kept in mind. So TA is directly proportional to pi into IA and N is directly proportional to EB by pi. Characteristics of DC series motor. The first characteristics is here TA versus IA characteristic. We have seen that TA is directly proportional to pi into IA. In this case, as field windings also carry the armature current, pi is also directly proportional to IA up to the point of magnetic saturation. Hence, before saturation, TA is directly proportional to pi into IA, and hence TA is directly proportional to IA square. At light loads, IA and hence pi is small, but as IA increases, TA increases as the square of the current. Hence, TA versus IA curve is a parabola as shown in figure. After saturation, pi is almost independent of IA, hence TA is directly proportional to IA only. So the characteristic becomes a straight line. The shaft torque TSH is less than the armature torque due to stray losses. The second characteristic is N versus IA characteristics. So variations of speed can be deduced from the formula. N is directly proportional to EB by pi. Change in EB for various load currents is small and hence may be neglected for the time being. With increased IA, pi also increases, hence speed varies inversely as armature current as shown in figure. The third characteristic is N versus TA or mechanical characteristics. It is found from above that when speed is high, torque is low and vice versa. The relation between the two is as shown in figure. Characteristics of DC shunt motor. So the first characteristics here, TA versus IA characteristics, assuming pi to be practically constant. So why? Because the shunt field winding is connected across the armature and at the same time across the supply. If the supply voltage is constant, automatically the shunt field current is also constant. If the shunt field current is constant, the flux also almost constant. So then here TA is only directly proportional to armature current IA. Hence the electrical characteristics as shown in figure is practically a straight line through the origin. Shaft torque is shown dotted since a heavy starting load will need a heavy starting current. Shunt motor should never be started on a load. Second characteristics is N versus IA characteristics. If I is assumed constant, then N directly proportional to back EMF EB. As EB is also practically constant, speed is for most purposes constant. But strictly speaking, both EB and pi decrease with increasing load. However, EB decreases slightly more than pi, so that on the whole there is some decrease in speed. The drop varies from 5 to 15% of full load speed. And the last characteristic is here N versus TA or mechanical characteristics. These characteristics can be deduced from 1 and 2 and above 1 and 2 and is shown in a figure. Characteristics of DC compound wound motor. So these motors have both series and shunt windings, shunt field windings. If series excitation helps the shunt excitation, that is series flux is in the same direction, then the motor is said to be cumulatively compounded. If on the other hand series field opposes the shunt field, then the motor is said to be differentially compounded. So you can see the diagram here. In the diagram, okay, you can see here series field as well as shunt field. So there you can see, you can clearly observe the change in the current direction, the series field winding in both diagrams, figure A and figure B here. So in one case, okay, series field aids the shunt field. In other case, series field opposes the shunt field. If series field aids the shunt field, you will get the cumulatively compounded. If the series field opposes the shunt field, you get the differentially compounded. The characteristics of such motors lie in between those of shunt and series motors as shown in figure. So here clearly mentioned in the figures here, characteristics of differentially compounded, cumulatively compounded here. So one is speed versus IA characteristics, other one is torque versus IA characteristics. The characteristics of these motors here always in between shunt and series motors. Applications of DC motor. DC shunt wound motors are constant speed, hence used in applications requiring constant speed like a lathe machine, a drilling machine, grinders, blowers and compressors, etc. DC series wound motors are useful in applications where starting torque required is high and quick acceleration like traction, hoist and lifts, crane, rolling mills and conveyors, etc. DC cumulative compound wound motors can be operated on no loads as they run at moderately high speed at no load. Hence, cumulative compound motors are used for applications like elevators, rolling mills, punches, shears and planners, etc. DC differential compound wound motors speed increases. DC differential compound wound motor speed increases with increase in load, which leads to unstable operation. Therefore, we cannot use these motors for any practical applications. So with this, I am concluding this video lecture. Thank you.